instructor at UMBC. I teach a course in comic book literature. And right now, I still keep up with reading comics all the time. I grew up reading comics and still think they're an amazing storytelling medium.
Okay, well, the subscription boxes are really the bread and butter of most comic book stores. The comic book industry is arranged such that you, as a retailer, are given cover art and maybe a 2-sentence synopsis of the story, and based on that, you have to guess 2 months in advance what your customers are going to want, what's going to be a good selling book.
I just bought Nightcrawler. He's been my favorite character for zillions of years. I was an X-Men fan since I was maybe say 4 or 5. I've been buying X-Men comics, and he's always my favorite character, so I follow his new little.
Marvel's House of M was absolutely wretched, and nobody should have been forced to read that. It was terrible. However, this decimation stuff doesn't look too bad.
But yeah, Marvel, mainstream Marvel has a title called Runaways that I am amazed with. It's innovative and it's new, and it's not just, look, we have the same 53 characters, or look, we made up 15 new characters that we're not going to bother to tell you anything about, and therefore, completely make the book pointless because you don't care what's going on with the characters. You know what I mean?
I don't find there's often a lot that's really interesting to read right now. You have to sort of pick through a lot of stuff to find something that's a real gem. But there are still some great comics to read that represent the best that the literary art form has to offer. I use Strangers in Paradise in my course, and I still read Strangers in Paradise, which has been running for 10 years. I still read Spider-Man comics, even though I regret it more often than not. And I try to poke around and see what else is going on in comics just about every month. Graphic novels, long-form, short-form stories, all sorts of things.
Ultimates 2. You cannot beat that book. That is the book.
Did you get
The Walking Dead is an incredibly good series. He's the same guy that does this that did Battle Pope. Incredible. Fantastic. It's funny as mess. Well, this isn't so funny. This is a very serious comic. Very dark, and it's zombies. It's a very realistic, ongoing series of what a world would be like with zombies.
Battle Pope, also awesome. Kirkman, one of Kirkman's earlier works. Kirkman is now writing Walking Dead, which is also awesome. I don't really like zombie, horror comics, because, what are you going to do? You turn the page, there's more zombies. Ooh, scary, right? So he actually managed to write a zombie book that is far more character-driven. You actually care what's going on with the main people. It's not just, oh my god, there's zombies out there, we gotta keep them from getting in here, oh shit, they're in here, now we gotta get out there, there's an actual plot.
I've been following with some fascination for years the current resurgence in comic book movies, which is not a new thing. There have been comic book movies done all the way back to the silent era and into the movie serials of the 30s, and there was a huge surge in comic book movies around the time of Superman in the late 70s and early 80s into what most people refer to as the whole Batmania era in the 80s when Tim Burton's movies were coming out.
And Army of Darkness vs. the Reanimator. This is an ongoing collection of, it's the third miniseries with Ash from the Army of Darkness movies, and I follow it because it's Ash from the Army of Darkness.
And now we're seeing another surge that started largely with Blade in 1998 and the X-Men movies, and now Spider-Man, and it seems it's Marvel characters that are very popular with people today. Do I think it's a good thing? I don't think it hurts. I think it's great to have mainstream attention brought to these characters. I think, unfortunately, it perpetuates a stereotype that people tend to think comics are just about superheroes. I also think that sometimes it distances people from them. I think kids coming out of these movies more often than not are going to now remember Spider-Man as a film character rather than a comic book character. But I certainly don't think it hurts to have the medium get some mainstream attention.
Now I'm on my way to a couple other comic book shops, and I'm going to look for the Authority Revolution miniseries finale.